Excursions, private or cruise line? Which one? Join me. Hey there, my name is Nick. This is Cruise in Family. We are a YouTube channel all about a family who likes to cruise. There's me, Nick, Cheryl, my wife. We have 3 kids who are 10, 10, and 12. And we love to show off some of the things that we get into, some of the adventures that we have. And we travel a bunch. And this channel is all about all of that. And then we also have a dog named Cruz. So if you've seen some of our dog videos, you're like, what in the world is that about? Why is it on your channel? His name's Cruz. It's not our channel name. So we also make some dog videos. So today we're going to get into talking about excursions. And I want to talk about excursions that you do with a cruise line and excursions that you could do on your own. And give some of the ins and outs of booking both types, when you might want to do one or the other, and just the advantages or disadvantages of booking one or the other. So hopefully you're in the right spot. Hopefully that's something you're interested in. If it is, and you think it's something that I don't talk about, tell me about it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, because I like to kind of do that. Just, you know, when you accept advice from somebody, you should know, like, from what perspective they're talking from, right? I'm not a travel agent. I don't do excursions. I don't write professionally for anything like that. I'm just a person that has gone on excursions. I mean, I couldn't even begin to know how many. I've been on over 20 cruises, so I don't know. 60. And we've done excursions with cruise lines, on multiple cruise lines, and on our own. So that's the perspective that you're hearing it from. I don't have anything to sell you. I just want to share some of the information or knowledge that I've gleaned over the years. So there are some definite times when booking with a cruise line is absolutely essential. Okay. And I'm gonna talk about a couple of them right now. The first one is if this is your very first cruise, your very first time out of the country, book on up with that cruise line. You might find that it's more expensive. You might find that it's maybe more limited than what you could do in the port, but there's a peace of mind. There's a level of expertise and professionalism that you're going to find at the cruise line. So as a first-time cruiser, as a first-time person going out of the country, book on with the cruise line. It's going to give you some peace of mind. So definitely in that scenario, book with a cruise line. Another time to book with a cruise line is if it's an experience that you can only get with the cruise line and it's something that you're looking forward to. Book with the cruise line. Book. Do it. Example, we're on an Alaskan cruise going through Tracy Fjord, and they have a boat that comes up, takes people for an excursion, and you get to go up to the glacier. Nobody else is going to do that. You could do a land vacation over to Juneau, and they'll give you a similar situation, but that's a different vacation. Okay, that's not the same vacation. So if the only shop in town, the only group that's doing it is the cruise line, and it's something you really want to do, an experience that you're like, oh, that sounds good, do it. Book with them. Do it. It might be expensive, but book with them. All right. And the third time, and this is not an absolute must, but it's a pro tip of something that you can probably get some value from. If you're in a port that has a short amount of time in that port and you're tendering, book an excursion that leaves early that you would enjoy going to do. And the reason that I say that is this port is going to be something that you have limited time in. You're not going to, if you don't book an excursion, you're not going to have much time to go and experience. Plus, it's an excursion that you're like, hey, I want to do that. Hey, that sounds interesting. That sounds fun. That sounds like something relaxing. I want to go try that. Okay? So, perfect example. When we go to Cabo, the conversation that Cheryl and I always have is, should we book an excursion there or not? And if we say yes, that means, hey, we want to get off the ship, and we'll have a little bit of time after to go see the town also. But much of the time when you're with Carnival going to Cabo, you're only there for maybe 5 hours. And if the tendering line is an hour or two, you're only talking about like 2 or 3 hours in the port, which is a very short amount of time. And to be able to go do something on your own, you're going to have like whiplash with that. So definitely, if it's in a place that you're in a small amount of time, you know that there's going to be a crunch to be able to get off that ship, considering booking an excursion that you want to go on. Don't just book an excursion to be like, I want to go on an excursion so I get off the ship. Book an excursion that you want to go on and go with the cruise line in that situation. And the fourth way is if you feel uncomfortable booking outside of the cruise line. I want to experience this port. I want to go see something in this port, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel maybe safe. I don't feel like I'll be able to get back to the ship. I don't, whatever it is that you're not feeling comfortable with, the cruise line is going to put in certain protections to make sure that you have a decent time and that you're able to get back to the ship, not on your own dime. Some people think that they'll hold the ship all of the time, which is not necessarily the case. There are situations where the ship will leave with people that are on a cruise line excursion. And anybody that's like, oh, that never happens, it does. It can. If the port is saying you need to leave, and there are people on an excursion that are on the excursion with the cruise line, they're going to make sure that you get to the cruise ship. It just may not be at that port. And they're going to help you get there. They're going to make sure that you get there. But they might leave you behind still. So just make sure anybody that says, oh, they're always going to hold the ship for you, they're exaggerating the truth. And the implied piece that they're trying to say is they're going to make sure that you're taken care of, which is definitely true. Those cruise lines are going to make sure that you're taken care of. They're going to make sure that your well-being is considered, and they're gonna make sure that you are able to enjoy your cruise, along with the excursion that you're on. Okay. Times when I would book off cruise is if we want to go to enjoy a beach, resort, or area of the town, and that could include like a walking tour. We've booked multiple times with Resort Pass, and we just take a taxi to the resort. We enjoy the all-inclusiveness of the resort, and then we come back to the ship. And going to a beach or going to a location, getting that taxi, being able to walk or whatever it is that we're getting to that location, because we feel comfortable doing it, we'll book it and go with the other group. Another time that I would say book off cruise is if you have a group of people that you're booking with, that you feel confident with, that they've done research or you've done research about the company that you're going, the itinerary or the excursion type that you're doing. Make sure that you've put a little bit of effort into it, right? Knowing your risks, but that group is like, hey, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to get there. And you're part of that group interaction, group situation. You can definitely find ways to save some money by booking off cruise line or private tours. Another time that I would book off cruise is if I know that the company that I'm booking with is reputable. And I combined one of my other ones with this knowledge of, hey, I know this company is reputable. So we had found a group of people that are like, hey, we're going to go do this thing. There's this company in Roatan. They're great. We're like, okay, you guys have done it. You guys seem trustworthy. We're going to try it with you. We went with them. We had a great experience. It was a private tour. They took us to a beach. They made sure that our day was great. And then they got us back to the ship in plenty of time. So last January, we're looking at Roatan again. So I'm like, let's go to Victor Baden. Victor Baden took care of us before, so let's try it again. We found other things that we wanted to do, and we built our package, and they took care of us. So we already knew that they were a reputable company because of experiences that we had before. So I feel comfortable booking ahead of time, knowing what to expect, having the cash ready for the location, and they checked off everything that we asked from them, and then they did some extra stuff, threw in some extra stuff to make the most of the day. Even though we felt like there was value already in what we were paying for, the guy gave us additional like tour time. Took us into some other locations after asking. He actually made a stop at a shop. My daughter had lost her inhaler, so we actually stopped. He went in and talked with the pharmacist and explained to him and made that interaction happen. So finding that reputable company, the one that you trust, is a great time to book off cruise line. Book with a private group. And I guess the only way that you're going to find out whether or not they're reputable is by testing them out first, right? Somebody else had tested them out and given it to us, and we experienced it, and then I can say for certain, I know anytime I go to Roatan, all I need to do is look at their menu of stuff, do their build your own excursion, and then I can get a private excursion for my family at a pretty reasonable price. But definitely, if you know that company is reputable, feel like you can book with them. Go book with them. Book your private cruise or your private excursion with those people. One pro tip for either way, whether you're booking with the cruise line or by yourself, is don't feel like you have to go do something. Just because you're at the port doesn't mean that you have to go and do any excursion. There are some cruisers that love to do a ship day, and that could be your excursion. And you're like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? Well, think of the thousands of people that are on the ship, and then think of the thousands of people that are trying to get off the ship to go do the excursions. It leaves a small percentage of people on the ship, and some things are limited, but a lot of things are open. If you go watch some video vlogs of your favorite YouTuber, and see ones that do a port day on the ship. We were just watching, we're getting ready for our cruise out of New York. We were just watching one about Symphony of the Seas, and this couple, they had been to Nassau a trillion times, I guess. I don't know. I've never been to Nassau, so it's somewhere that I'm still looking at seeing what we want to do there. But they stayed on the ship. They did zip lining, they did rock climbing, they went down the dry slide, the abyss. They did miniature golf, and they were like all over the place, doing all sorts of events, and so many things were open while they were in port. And they get to the end, like showing off, like, oh, they also did the carousel. They get to the end, they did like 7 things, and they're like, oh, it's like 2:00. They just did a day's worth of stuff, and they get up late in like 3 hours. So you can definitely a pro tip, if you're not finding something that you're like, hey, I want to go do that, consider making your port day a cruise ship day. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Another pro tip is if you're traveling with a family, have a conversation with everybody. Be like, hey, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? These are the stops we're making. What do we want to do in the 3 or 4 places that we're going? And like if you have little ones like me, if you have a 10, and a 12-year-old, get their feedback, get their buy-in. Like they're going to come up with some cool ideas and maybe some things that the adult might also enjoy. So, pro tip, have your family, have your travel mates be involved in that planning so that everybody ends up satisfied with what you're going to go do. Another pro tip is because so many people have been on so many of these excursions on or off cruise line, so private or with the cruise line, find the title of what's there, put it into your YouTube search bar, and look for people that have done it before. Because you can learn a lot about what they show and what they don't show, what they talk about and their experiences there. And then you can, like, you're going to have to use a little bit of empathy, and you're going to have to use a little bit of, hey, how would I relate there? And, you know, maybe you're the same type of person as the vlogger, or maybe you're a different type of person than the vlogger, but consider how it would affect you. So use those titles that are on the cruise line store, and then also like these off-brand places or off cruise line places. You can search up lots of different excursions just by knowing the name that they're being called, because people that are YouTubing it are trying to get people to come and see what it's all about. They want to show, hey, this is how I experienced it. I want to tell you about it. I want you to know what to expect so that when you go there, you're not underwhelmed or overwhelmed by what you got. So definitely a pro tip there. And to wrap things up, I want to wrap things up here. My preference when booking an excursion is finding things that my family's going to enjoy. If it's going to be on the cruise ship or cruise line, we'll book it. If it's not going to be on the cruise line, we'll book it. I'm okay doing both. But as I said before, if you're not comfortable, if you're new to cruising, if you're not comfortable in the location, stick with the cruise line. If you have lots of experience, you know the people that are running the excursion, book with that person, book with that company. But find things that the people that you're traveling with, that's what I prefer to do. And hopefully that'll be a pro tip for you for your time when you're looking at excursions. I'm going to wrap things up here. Say thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way through here, listening to me jabber on and on about excursions, thank you so much. It means the world to me to be able to share a little bit of information. If there's something I didn't talk about, please tell me about it. If there's something that you find helpful, put it down in the comments. Let other people know about it. That's the whole reason that I do this, is because I want to learn about stuff, and I also enjoy helping other people be prepared for their experience. So thank you so much. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you around. Bye.